Good evening. Vandana, good evening. Am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible? Yeah, audible and visible. Good. Any doubts regarding whatever we have done till now? Any doubts? Any clarifications required? Hello? Are you finding it interesting or is it boring? I know it is factual in nature, but then is it interesting or boring? Okay, thank you, Nikhil. Nikhil says interesting. Let some more people join in and then I'll begin. Sai Krishna, good evening. Pavani, good evening. So let's come to the last leg of today's class, last session. Good evening, Emanata. Sai Krishna. Okay. So here we come to the Dravida style. Any doubts? Any clarifications required? Everything is clear? Chaityas, stupas, pillars of Ashoka, viharas, all those things. Everything is clear. Gandhara, Mathura, Amaravati schools of art, Gupta period. We have looked at the Nagara style, sub schools of Nagara style. Thank you, Himata. Gudi Padwa. Okay, thank you. Tumalapan. Okay, we'll come back here. Dravida style. Now, um, so here we have the Dravida style, which was initiated by the Pallavas. The foundation was laid by the Pallavas, and we have other South Indian dynasties who added some extra features to Dravida style. The foundation was laid by the Pallavas. To understand this, we'll come back here. So, Dravida style. So Pallavas were the ones who laid the foundation of Dravida style. So foundation was laid with the Pallavas. So we start our survey of Dravida style of temple architecture with the Pallavas. So during the Pallava period, we have initially cave temples. They are called mandapas. So cave temples were built by the Pallavas. They are called mandapas. Mandapas are nothing but cave temples. We'll come to that. I'll show you the pictures. So they are cave temples, then followed by rathas. So mandapas, then you have rathas. What are rathas? Monolithic temples. Monolithic temples. They are called rathas. So initially mandapas, then rathas, then we have the transition towards structural temples, freestanding structural temples. Structural temples. So we'll study all these things: mandapas, rathas, and freestanding structural temples under the Pallavas. Then we followed the Cholas. The Cholas succeeded the Pallavas, the Cholas. So all the features of a Dravida style, all the features of a Dravida style are found in Chola temples. So we have the great Rajaraja, Rajendra. So they built magnificent temples. The Cholas were Shaivites. They used to worship Shiva. Shiva was the main god. So all the features of a Dravida temple are found in Chola temples. So we will discuss that in detail. And Chola temples were not just places of worship, they were socio-economic and cultural centers. Understand this? Chola temples were socio-economic and cultural centers. They were not just places of worship, they were socio-economic and cultural centers. So what is the meaning of that? I'll tell you later. So Cholas. Then we have, of course, other South Indian dynasties who added some extra features to Dravida style. Like, for example, Vijayanagar kings. Vijayanagar kings. So they highlighted the Kalyana Mandapa. What is Kalyana Mandapa? Kalyana Mandapa is the hall where the god and the goddess were married on ceremonial occasions, on important occasions. We have, for example, in Tirupati, Tirumala, the Kalyanotsavam, where Venkateshwara is married to Lakshmi. So that is called Kalyanotsava. Every year it is held, and it's a big festival there. Thousands and lakhs of people come to attend the divine marriage. So the hall where this marriage was performed was called Kalyana Mandapa. So that was highlighted by the Vijayanagar kings, including Vasanta Mandapa, Vasanta Mandapa. That is the coming of the spring season. So you have a separate hall where Vasantotsavam was celebrated. Similarly, we have the Nayakas who ruled over Jinji, Vellore, Madurai, Tanjavur, etc. They built 1,000-pillared halls. 1,000-pillared halls. And under the Cholas, the Gopuram became very, very magnificent. Gopuram is the entrance gateway. It superseded the Vimana also. It was much more beautiful than the Vimana. Vimana was, of course, the main thing, but then Gopuram also was elaborate. Gopuram is the entrance gateway. So Nayakas added 1,000-pillared halls. So like that, we will discuss the Dravida style. And once we finish the Dravida style, we'll come to the Vesara style, which has mixture of both Nagara and Dravida styles, right? So that's how I'm going to deal with this topic. Last leg of our class. So hold on. I know you may be tired. You may be having other things to do, but we will try to cover as much as possible today's class. So we'll come back here. Pallava style. So Pallavas, as you know, ruled from the Pallavas of Kanchipuram. We have done the Pallava Chalukya conflict as part of ancient India. Last chapter, you remember Pallava Chalukya conflict. So Pallavas ruled from the 6th century AD to the 9th century AD. These are the imperial Pallavas. They had Kanchipuram as their capital. Kanchi was their capital. Okay. Kanchipuram near Tamil Nadu, near Chennai, about 50 kilometers from Chennai. Kanchipuram was their capital. Kanchi is famous for silk sarees, as you know. You have a silk industry, flourishing silk industry there. Now, who are the important Pallava kings? Can you name the important Pallava kings? You remember the history of the Pallava Chalukyas? So we have 4 important kings. We have Mahendra Varman the first. Understand this? Mahendra Varman the first. Mahendra Varman the first. Then Mahendra Varman the first. Then Narasimha Varman the first. Narasimha Varman. Mahendra Varman the first. Narasimha Varman the first. Number 3, Narasimha Varman the second. I think I use another page. I'm sorry for that. Just hold on. I'll use another page. It becomes clearer. So Pallavas ruled from the 6th century to the 9th century AD. From Kanchipuram as their capital. Kanchipuram. Important Pallava kings were Mahendra Varman the first. Mahendra Varman. Right? So important temples were built during his period. So Mahendra Varman the first. Then we have Narasimha Varman the first. Narasimha Varman. And you also all know Narasimha Varman the first was the person who killed Pulakeshi and took the title of Mamalla. So he takes the title of Mamalla. So we have the Mamalla style. He founded the city of Mahabalipuram or Mamalapuram near Chennai. So that's called Mamalla style or Narasimha Varman the first. Third king, important king, Narasimha Varman the second. Narasimha Varman the second. So his title was Rajasimha. One of his titles was Rajasimha. So this is called Rajasimha style of temples, Rajasimha style. And the fourth important king was Nandi Varman the second. Nandi Varman the second. Nandivarman II. So this is called Nandivarman group of temples. So these are the four important kings of the Pallavas, and corresponding to their rule, we have four important styles or development of temple architecture under the Pallavas. On your screen, you can see here. So here, the Pallava style later culminated into the Dravida style of temple architecture, right? So there were four different phases. These are the four different phases, named after the four important kings. Mahendra group of temples belonging to the period of Mahendravarman I. Second stage, Narsimha group of temples or Mamalla style belonging to the period of Narsimhavarman I. Then Narsimhavarman II or Rajasimha style and Nandivarman II or Aparajita group. Aparajita was one of the titles of Nandivarman II. So let us come to the Mahendra group of temples. Mahendra group of temples corresponding to the rule of King Mahendravarman I of the Pallavas. So what we notice here is mandapas were constructed. What is a mandapa? So mandapas are simply pillared halls with the garbhagriha in the background, in the back portion. You can see here, this is the example of a mandapa, the picture of a mandapa on your screen, all of you. So I'll give another picture. You see, you have, this is a mountain, and at the base of the mountain, they have carved a small temple. So we have the garbhagriha in the background. You can see, you have the garbhagriha, this is the garbhagriha. And you have pillared hall. You see, you can see a shallow pillared hall here. And obviously, this is a Shiva temple. Nandi is parked outside. Nandi is parked outside. So this is a Shiva temple. Similarly, another picture I'll show you. You can see here, mountain. And then you have the Garbhagriha in the back portion with a pillared porch in front. This is called a mandapa. So mandapas were simply pillared halls which contained the Garbhagriha in the back portion. So during the time of Mahendravarman I, mandapas were constructed. What are the best examples of mandapas? Rock-cut temples at Bhairava Kona in the North Arcot district of Tamil Nadu, Ananteshwara temple at Undavali in the Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. On your screen, this is the rock-cut temples at Bhairava Kona, AP, Andhra Pradesh. Rock-cut temples at Bhairava Kona. Again, I have put two pictures here and one more. Ananteshwara temple at Undavali. So you can see Vishnu is sleeping inside a cave. Ananteshwara temple at Undavali. So this is the example of a mandapa. Or did you get me? Hello, all of you. Are you clear? Can you raise your hands? Did you get me here? So this is the example of a mandapa. So mandapas were simply pillared halls which contained the garbhagriha in the back portion. Thank you, Madhuri. Then we come to Narsimha group of temples. So this corresponds to the rule of King Narsimhavarman I or Mamalla. So he takes the title of Mamalla after killing Pulakeshi II of the Badami Chalukyas. Now, during the period of Narsimhavarman I, we not only have mandapas, but also rathas. So first stage is mandapas. A number of mandapas were constructed. You can see here on your screen. This is the Pancha Pandava cave. So if you go to Mahabalipuram near Chennai, you can see here, this is the Pancha Pandava cave. The five Pandava brothers, and we see a sculpture of Krishna lifting Govardhan hills. You can see here, Krishna is lifting the Govardhan hills with his one hand. So you know the story here. Indra caused huge amount of rainfall, and the people of Gokul were in big trouble. So they came running to Krishna, and Krishna lifted the mountain, Govardhan hill, and all the people of Gokul took shelter under the hill. And how much ever Indra caused the rain, he could not trouble the people of Gokul. So this is what is depicted in this sculpture. So this is the picture of the Pancha Pandava cave at Mahabalipuram. This is the Varaha cave temple at Mahabalipuram. So these are all examples of mandapas, Varaha cave temple. So you can see here Varaha, Vishnu in the form of Varaha, boar incarnation of Vishnu. He's saving Mother Earth. Okay, he's carrying Mother Earth with him. Okay, in his shoulder. On his shoulder rather. The wall in the Adivaraha cave shows Vishnu in his gigantic Trivikrama form. So that is, he took 3 steps, isn't it? And in the 3rd step, he killed Bali. So that is called Trivikrama form of Vishnu. So here, mandapas were constructed in the first stage of the rule of Narsimhavarman I. So we have images of Mahisha Mardini, that is Mahishasura Mardini, Durga killing the demon Mahisha. So Mahisha had taken, he was a demon, as you know, he had taken the form of a buffalo. He had taken the form of a buffalo. So Mahisha Mardini or Mahishasura Mardini, another name for Durga. So she kills Mahisha. Vishnu, Brahma, Harihara, image of Krishna lifting Govardhan hills, right? Then Adivaraha Mandapa has scenes from the royal clan, which is identified with Vishnu clan. So Pallavas claimed descent from Vishnu. They said Vishnu was their family god. So Pallavas claimed descent from Vishnu. So they said they belong to the Vishnu clan. So they claim descent from Vishnu. So we have in the Adivaraha Mandapa scenes from the royal clan, which is identified with Vishnu clan. So this is the Adivaraha Mandapa. Then we have Rathas. You see here on your screen. If you look at the picture, you'll understand. Has anybody gone to Mahabalipuram here? Has not yet. Anybody has gone to Mahabalipuram near Chennai? Nobody? Kennedy, nobody has gone. Okay, Kennedy, Gia. Okay, you'll get your time. You'll find your time one day, and it will take you there if you're meant to go. So this is the rathas. You can see on your screen. These are 5 rathas at Mahabalipuram. These are monolithic temples. So there were huge boulders earlier. You can see wherever these temples are. Earlier there were huge boulders. So you have the sculptor working from top to down, and these have been carved into temples. These are called Pancha, the 5 rathas, or popularly called 7 pagodas. They are named after the 5 Pandava family, the Pandava family. Totally, there are actually 8 temples, but popularly called 7 pagodas, right, on your screen. So rathas or monolithic temples, they're all found at Mahamalapuram or Mahabalipuram, carved from top to bottom. They're smaller in size. So they're all dedicated to Shiva. Though they are named after the Pandava family, they are all dedicated to Shiva. So what are the 8 temples here? Dharmaraja, that is Yudhishthir, the eldest of the Pandava brothers. Yudhishthir or Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. So Nakula and Sahadeva have one temple for themselves. Then Draupadi. So these are five monolithic temples. Then we have 3 more. Ganesha, Pidari, Valayan Kuttai. Local gods. Pidari, Valayan Kuttai. So these are called the 7 pagodas, though there are 8 in number. 7 pagodas. So they are all called rathas, monolithic temples found at Mahabalipuram. Did you get me that? How many examples of temples we have to put in mains? Not necessarily, Hemalata. You don't need to give any examples. Just understand the topic. Understand the development of temple architecture here. Okay, development of temple architecture. Understand the various phases through which Dravida style went. We looked at the Nagara style, right, and the sub schools of Nagara. Then we have come to the Dravida style. The foundation was laid by the Pallavas, mandapas, then rathas, then freestanding structural temples. So we're discussing the rathas, right? So I have put pictures here. So I collect these from various magazines, online, offline, and then put these pictures. It helps me to teach better and understand the subject better, first of all, and the student also is benefited definitely with these pictures. I hope you acknowledge that. The Dharmaraja Ratha clearly shows how the rock cutters convert a rock into a shrine. You can see here, this is the Dharmaraja Ratha. This is the Dharmaraja Ratha. Yeah, working from top to down. This is the Dharmaraja Ratha. Then the Bhima Ratha. So this is a longitudinal shaped Ratha, barrel vaulted roof. It has got a barrel vaulted roof. You can see it is in the form of a barrel. You see, it's like a barrel vaulted roof. This is Bhima Ratha. Probably it was meant for a reclining Vishnu. Then Arjuna Ratha, it is incomplete. Okay, and you can see a Nandi here. Nandi is parked outside, rock cut bull. So this is Arjuna Ratha. Then we have Adivaraha cave, ceiling carved with floral designs. Ceiling has flower designs in the Adivaraha cave. This is the Nakula Sahadeva Ratha. It is incomplete. An elephant has been carved beside it. You can see an elephant has been carved beside it. So we are going on a temple tour literally in this class. We are going on a temple tour. So please bear with me. So incomplete Nakula Sahadeva Ratha. Then, so I have given you important aspects, important points regarding these rathas. Draupadi Ratha. So this is in the shape of a Bengali hut. You can see here, This is the Draupadi Ratha. Look at the roof of the Draupadi Ratha. So this is on your screen. This is in the shape of a Bengali hut. So this is called a Bengali hut. This is found in Mahabalipuram, Bengali hut. So in Bengal, this is pretty popular, heavy rainfall area. So huts are made like that. So Draupadi Ratha has a Bengali hut, the roof of a Bengali hut. Okay. Then similarly, Dharmaraja and Arjuna Rathas, they have a rectangular base and octagonal dome. Nakula Sahadeva Ratha, they have a Mukhamantapa, has no decoration. What is Mukhamantapa? Entrance porch. Dharmaraja Ratha. So very interesting is we have an image of King Narasimhavarman I who is shown like a god. Understand this. This particular aspect became very common under the Cholas. In the Dharmaraja Ratha, that is, I'll show you the picture again. This is the Dharmaraja Ratha. So this is the Dharmaraja Ratha on your screen. Inside the Dharmaraja Ratha, we have the image of King Narasimhavarman I, who killed Pulakeshin II. The greatest of the Pallavas was Narasimhavarman I. So Narasimhavarman I is shown like a god inside this particular Ratha, okay, or monolithic temple. And this particular, so he's shown like a god, a deity. And this particular aspect became common under the Cholas. You see, when we do Chola architecture, we'll talk about it. The greatest temple built by the Cholas is in Tanjore or Tanjavur, as it is called, the Brihadeshwara temple or the Rajarajeshwara temple. Now, this is a Shiva temple. It's the tallest temple in medieval India, the Brihadeshwara temple. The main idol is Shiva Linga. There's a Shiva Linga inside. But also we have a statue of the king and the queen installed inside the temple. So because the Cholas used to worship their kings like gods. So the belief was, who can build such a magnificent temple unless he is close to God? So this is basically a Shiva temple, the Brihadeshwara temple. We also have an image of or an idol of the king and the queen, Raja and his wife, installed inside the temple, and they are worshipped like gods because that was a practice amongst the Cholas. We see this practice first in the Dharmaraja Ratha. So I mentioned that. Remember such points. Hello, did you understand? Hemalata, Jia, all of you here, Satyanarayana, Kennedy. So these are the type of things you should remember just in case the examiner asks you questions. So you see here, Dharmaraja Ratha contains engraved image of Narasimhavarman I. He is made in a formal manner, much like the depiction of deities, like a god. I want you to remember those things. Then Bhimaratha is incomplete. Bhimaratha is incomplete. It is unfinished. And we have the representation of sleeping Vishnu there. And Rathas were carved from top to bottom. They were carved from top to bottom, not from bottom to top, from top to bottom, like this. So this is the tiger cave very near to Mamallapuram. You have heads of yalis or mythical lion-like creatures. You can see these are yalis. These are mythical lion-like creatures. The tiger cave near Mahabalipuram. So this is the second stage. So we have discussed Mahendra group of temples where mandapas were built. Then Narasimhavarman I or Mamalla style where mandapas and rathas were built. Third stage, Rajasimha group of temples. This belongs to the period of King Narasimhavarman II. And one of the titles of Narasimhavarman II was Rajasimha. And what do we notice here? We have the construction of freestanding structural temples. Earlier, mandapas were built. So in a mountain, they have made a small temple. That's called a mandapa with a shallow porch. Then they made rathas, monolithic temples. Then we have with stones, bricks, they began to build independent structures, freestanding structural temples. We see that under Narasimhavarman II. You see here, this is the first example of a structural temple built according to the Dravida style. In fact, this is the oldest Dravida temple in India, the shore temple at Mahabalipuram. First temple built in Dravida style, freestanding structural temple built in Dravida style. So I come back here. So stones, bricks were used to construct the temples in place of rock cut architecture. Did you understand, Hemalata? All of you are clear? Are you clear here? So mandapas, rathas, and the transitional stage, and the next stage is structural temples. So stones, bricks were used. So the best example you can see here, Shore Temple at Mamallapuram and the Kailashanatha Temple at Kanchipuram, built by Narasimhavarman II. So both these temples were built by King Narasimhavarman II. So you see here, there's no mountain here where a temple has been carved out of it, or a ratha. This is a freestanding structural temple built of bricks and stones. So this is the shore temple at Mahabalipuram, built by Narasimha Varman II. Narasimha Varman II. And this is the first temple, first Dravida temple, or rather, I should say, first structural temples built in Dravida style. First, so I should say first structural temple built in Dravida style. First structural temple built in Dravida style. Are you there with me, all of you? Clear? First structural temple built in Dravida style. Then you see another, I have put another picture, diving Varaha. This is very, very unique, I believe. Generally, what we notice is we have a demon called Hiranyaksha. This Hiranyaksha took Mother Earth into the ocean, I believe. He hid Mother Earth inside the ocean. And Vishnu, he took the form of Varaha or a boar, and then he dived into the ocean and rescued Mother Earth by placing Mother Earth on his horns, and then he brought her out of the ocean. Now, generally, Vishnu is shown with his head up. Varaha, incarnation of Vishnu, is shown with Vishnu's head up, and he's holding Mother Earth in his arms. But here, for the first time, we see Varaha is diving into the ocean. So the head is down. So diving Varaha in the Shore Temple complex. This is found in the Shore Temple complex. Only representation in India of Vishnu in his Varaha avatar with the head pointed downwards. Okay, only representation in India. So that's very important. Such things I want you to remember. Further, Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram. This was again built by Narasimhavarma II. So built by Narasimhavarma II, Kailashanatha temple. So he built two temples. One is the Shore temple at Mahabalipuram. The other is the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram. So built by Narasimhavarman II, or Rajasimha as he is called, the title of. So this temple was built for Shiva Gangadhara. So this was the royal chapel. So it was, what is the meaning of royal chapel? This was not meant for the public. It was meant only for the king and his family members. So this particular temple, the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram, and this temple at Kanchipuram became the inspiration for two temples. Please understand this. This temple became the inspiration later for two temples. One is the Kailasa temple at Ellora. The Kailasa temple at Ellora. Ellora is in Maharashtra as of now. This was built by the Rashtrakuta king Krishna the First. Krishna the First of the Rashtrakutas. So he built the Kailasa temple inspired by this temple at Kanchipuram. The Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram inspired two temples. One is the Kailasa temple at Ellora, and the second is the Virupaksha temple. The Virupaksha temple or Lokeshwara temple. The Virupaksha temple or Lokeshwara temple at Pattadakkal. This is in Karnataka, Pattadakkal, built by Loka Mahadevi, Queen Loka Mahadevi. Queen Loka Mahadevi, one of the queens of King Vikramaditya II. King Vikramaditya II of the Badami Chalukyas. So, did you get me that? So, Kailashanath temple at Kanchipuram was the inspiration for these two temples. Kailasa temple at Ellora and the Virupaksha or Lokeshwara temple at Pattadakal, built by Queen Lokamahadevi, one of the queens of King Vikramaditya II of the Badami Chalukyas. Clear? Hello, students? So since the exam has got postponed, what I notice is, in some of the batches, the strength has come down. So I think that some of the students have removed the accelerator from the pedal, accelerator from the pedal, or rather pedal from the accelerator, foot from the accelerator. Though you should not do that. Don't rest. You may take some rest, extra rest, but don't stop studying. That is a big mistake you make. You take a 1 or 2 days rest you take if you want, but then keep the momentum. Momentum is important. Once you lose the momentum, it becomes difficult. Okay. Can I move on? So this is the first. I told you, remember this short temple, first structural temple built in Dravida style in Mahabalipuram. And this is the first structural temple in India built in the Dravida style. Then the last stage, fourth stage, Nandivarman group of temples. Nandivarman or Aparajita group belonging to the period of King Nandivarman II. So we have a transition phase here between Pallavan and Chola architecture. Transition phase between Pallavan and Chola architecture. So you have a lot of the temples are smaller in size. You have ornate, they are more ornate. That is, complicated decorations are seen in these temples. They are smaller in size, and lifelike images of kings and queens are seen, which became pretty common under the Cholas. What is the best example of the Nandivarman group of temples? Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchipuram, built by Nandivarman II. Though this is big in size. This is the Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchipuram. So this is the Vaikunta. Remember one name, Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchipuram, locally called Tiruparameswara Vinnagaram. So Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchipuram, built by Nandivarman II. Are you there with me? All of you clear? Then we have Pallavan sculptures. Thank you. So Pallavan sculptures, they resemble those of the Guptas. All these sculptures are found at Mahabalipuram. So UPSC has asked questions from sculptures also. So that's why I have put all these things in the PPTs. Go through it, and then when you read Nitin Singhania, when you read your textbooks, then you'll get more information. So please note down those sculptures wherever they are. But I have most of the things are covered in the PPTs. So famous ones are all found at Mahabalipuram, the Pallavan sculptures, Nandi outside Shore Temple, the descent of the Ganges or Arjuna's parents, and Durga slaying buffalo demon. You can see here, this is Nandi outside Shore Temple. These are all the Nandis. These are the Nandis outside Shore Temple. Nandis outside Shore Temple. Then Arjuna's parents or descent of the Ganges, Mahabalipuram. I think I have explained this when I did ancient India. Remember? I've told you this. Do you remember this? Yeah, Ganesh says yes. Okay. Jia, right. So this is Arjuna's parents or descent of the Ganges. You can see Arjuna here, supposedly praying to Shiva. Shiva has appeared here. You have elephants which have come to drink water to the riverfront along with their calves. This is Ganga coming down from the heavens, and this is the family deity of the Pallavas, Vishnu. And you have a tiger here. You can see tiger is staying along with deer here. Similarly, there's a tiger here. So there's a deer here, right? There's another deer here. Monkeys have assembled. So there's one monkey which is trying to imitate Arjuna, standing on one leg, and a mice has come very close to it, impressed by the cat's, saintliness. But this is just a trick or a ruse to catch and eat it. So all these things are depicted beautifully. This is the world's largest bas relief. I have not told you this. This one, Arjuna's parents or descent of the Ganges, is the world's largest bas relief. World's largest bas relief. World's largest bas relief. Then Durga slaying the buffalo demon Mahishasura, Mahabalipuram. So you can see Durga is on her lion, a lioness rather. So she's on her lion, and she's fighting against Mahisha in the form of a demon. Right? This is about Dravida style. Then we come to Vesara style. Vesara. So we have discussed Dravida. We'll come to Dravida for Pallava style. I have discussed about Pallava style. Then we'll come to Chola in some time. Cholas, you have all the features of a Dravida temple in Chola temples. We'll come to that in some time. Just hold on. We'll come to Vesara. We'll talk about Vesara style. So Vesara style, Vesara. Vesara style of architecture, it is a hybrid style. It's a hybrid style which amalgamates both Nagara and Dravida. It's a mixture of Nagara and Dravida. And so here, this style of architecture was developed by the this style of architecture was developed by the Chalukyas of Badami. In the later phases, they developed it. Chalukyas of Badami. And four dynasties followed the Vesara style. Chalukyas of Badami, followed by the Rashtrakutas. So Rashtrakutas were under them as feudatories. So Rashtrakuta style is also called Vesara style. Kalyana Chalukyas, who were under the Rashtrakutas. So Kalyana Chalukyas. And number four, the Hoysalas. So Chalukyas, Badami, Rashtrakutas, Kalyana Chalukyas, and Hoysalas followed this style of architecture, Vesara style, which is a mixture of Nagara and Dravida. And sometimes it's also called mule style. What's a mule? A mule is a cross between a horse and a donkey. When you cross a horse and a donkey, you get a mule. So this is sometimes called a mule style for that reason. So what is very unique about this style? Unique about Vesara style is, which is particularly under the Chalukyas of Badami, stones were finely cut. Remember, you see this? Stones were finely cut and placed next to each other. They were placed next to each other without a cementing material, without any binding medium. So these are stones which are nicely cut, beautifully cut, and then placed next to each other. And there's no cement or binding medium or material or mortar to bind the stones. So that is very unique to Vesara style. Later it became more and more star-shaped. Under the Hoysalas, it became star-shaped, the Vesara style. So you have uniquely carved pillars. They are short in size. There's, unlike Dravida pillars, they are much more circular, rather much more bigger, and highly polished. So these are various aspects of Vesara style. We'll come back here. See here on your screen. Vesara style, mixture of Nagara and Dravida, sometimes called Central Indian temple architecture or Deccan architecture. So they ruled a buffer zone, that is between the north and the south, the Chalukyas of Badami. So they ruled a buffer zone. So they incorporated both elements of Nagara and Dravida. Unique feature, stones finely joined without mortar. Mortar is cementing agent, cementing material. So main centers of the Vesara style, Aihole, Badami, Pattadakal. This was the area where this is the place where we have temples of the Chalukyas of Badami found. Aihole, Badami, Pattadakal. They are in the present Bagalkot district of Karnataka. Bijapur and Bagalkot districts of Karnataka. So Vesara meaning mule. Okay, meaning mule is a hybrid style, a mixture of Nagara and Dravida. What are the features? First of all, Vesara style is influenced by Buddhist apsidal chapels. So you can see the apsidal chapels. There's the apse, as you know. So they are influenced by Buddhist apsidal chapels and evolved during the period of the later Chalukyas. Then number two, projections on the walls and superstructure were multiplied. The shikara and roof became stepped. So shikara and roof became stepped. Projections on the wall and superstructure were multiplied. Later, the plan often became star-shaped. So this temple became like a star later, the later stages. Pillars are massive, often circular, highly richly carved, highly polished. Then you have richly carved stone windows. Richly carved stone windows. Temple stands on a terrace. It has been built on a platform. So who are the dynasties which followed Vesara style? Chalukyas of Badami, Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas of Kalyana, and Hoysalas. And what are the examples of Vesara style? I have put it here. Mahadeva temple at Ittagi in the Koppal district of Karnataka. The Keshava temple at Somanathpur near Mysore. So this is a Vesara temple with Nagara influence. Chennakeshava temple at Belur, which is a Vesara temple with Dravida influence. So this is Vesara style. Bharati, this color is not good. Bharati, I'm using this yellow color. This is much more, it's much more visible on this background, Bharati. Should I use another color? Pink, maybe green color. This is okay? Bharati? Hello? Evening batch, there is a class. I have a evening batch from tomorrow, Hemalata. Morning batch, I have some pending portions on art and culture that will be notified to you shortly. Okay, that just give me some time. I'll notify. I will schedule those classes shortly for morning batch. Whatever pending portions are there, 2 or 3 classes I will take and finish off art and culture. An evening batch is starting tomorrow. For the evening students. I think 5 o'clock or 5:30. I'm not very sure about the time. So, but there's an evening batch from tomorrow onwards. So whatever is there, that will be notified to you. Don't worry, Hemlata. So we'll come back here. The Mahadeva temple at Ittagi in the Koppal district of Karnataka. Hemlata, I don't know about these things. That is handled by separate team. I don't know about those things. I'll try to find out and let you know. Okay. You keep studying. Don't get distracted by these things. Keep studying. They will notify it. Now let us look at the temple building activities under the Chalukyas of Badami. On your screen, we have temple building under the Chalukyas of Badami, noticed in 2 stages. So temple building is seen in 2 stages. We have the first stage, Aihole and Badami. First stage is Aihole and Badami. So Aihole is the cultural center of the Chalukyas. It's a temple town. There are about 70 temples here. Aihole, right? What are the best examples at Aihole? So it's called Aihole, Aihole. It's not Aihole, it is Aihole. So that's how it is spelled in Kannada. So we have the Lord Khan temple at Aihole. This is the Lord Khan temple. Why is it called Lord Khan temple? This is in the village of Lord Khan. This temple is located in the village of Lord Khan. Name of the village is called Lord Khan village. Therefore, this temple is also given that name. Then Durga temple, Uchimalli Gudi, and the Jain temple of Meguti. So this is the Durga temple at Aihole. This is in the shape of an Buddhist chaitya, apsidal chaitya. As you can see, this looks like an apse. Then this is the Huchimalli Gudi temple at Aihole. Huchimalli Gudi temple at Aihole, and the Jain temple of Meguti. Meguti Jain temple at Aihole. So this is Aihole. Then we have Badami. The best example is Malagitti Shivalaya temple. Malagitti Shivalaya temple or Upper Shivalaya temple. This is the best example of early Chalukyan architecture. So this is the Malagitti Shivalaya or Upper Shivalaya temple at Badami. Then we have 4 rock cut halls in Badami, 3 belonging to Hindu, 3 belong to Hinduism, and 1 belongs to Jainism. So this is, I have put a picture here, cave temple number 3 at Badami. So this is, 4 caves they dug up. Okay, and this is one of the caves. So this is the first stage, Aihole Badami. Second stage is at Pattadakal. Second stage of the Chalukyan architecture is at Pattadakal. Totally 10 temples are seen here. 4 are in the Nagara style and 6 are in the Dravida style. So which is the temple which is in the Nagara style? Papanatha. On your screen, you see this? Papanatha temple or Mukteshwar temple. This is in the Nagara style. So this is found in Pattadakal in Karnataka. On your screen, you can see why is it called Nagara style. Look at the Shikara here. Look at the spire. It is slightly curving towards a point. It's like a North Indian temple. It is curving. So therefore, this is called Nagara style. Okay, did you get me that? Nagara style. Then Dravida style. Sangameshwara temple. You see, this is Sangameshwara temple. This is in the form of a Dravida style. Look at the spire on top of the Garbhagriha. See here, it is like a pyramid, stepped. You see, like a Dravida temple, right? And therefore called Dravida style, Sangameshwara temple, Dravida style. Then Kanchi style. It copies the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram. This is the Virupaksha temple or Lokeshwara temple at Pattadakal, built by Loka Mahadevi, one of the queens of Vikramaditya II. The second greatest of the Badami Chalukyas. So it imitates the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchi. I've already given you a note on that. So this is the Virupaksha temple. This is the Virupaksha temple or Lokeshwara temple at Pattadakal, which copies the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram. So this is called Kanchi style. Okay, so this is about Chalukyas of Badami. Then we come to Cholas. Now on your screen. So we have the Cholas who built beautiful temples, huge temples. They were Shiva worshippers. The Cholas were Shiva worshippers. They brought most parts of South India under their control when they were at the zenith of their power. Their influence was seen far beyond their geographical confines. That's why they called imperial. We have told you that. I have told you that. They conquered the whole of Sri Lanka. They conquered Maldives, Lakshadweep. They conquered parts of Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaya, Cambodia, southern Thailand. They were all conquered by the Cholas. So whatever temples they built was a projection of their power, their dominance in that area. And also they had very flourishing trade with China. So the richness, the strength and power of the Cholas are seen in their temples, the grand temples they built. And they are built of solid granite. And all the features of a Dravida temple are seen in Chola temples. So before I proceed, you look at the diagram here. Look here on your screen. The general layout of a Dravida temple. So all the features of a Dravida temple are seen in Chola temples. So when you enter the temple, you have a Gopuram. That's called a Gopuram. You can see here Gopuram. So how does a Gopuram look like? You see here on your screen. This is a Gopuram. Entrance gateway. On your screen, entrance gateway. This is called a Gopuram. So Chola temples have an elaborate entrance gateway called a Gopuram. Okay, this is the Gopuram, entrance gateway. So there's one entrance gateway, Gopuram. So then you enter the temple like this, right? Primary compound wall. So there's a compound wall. You can see there's a compound wall here. There's a compound wall, right? Then you have a mandapa, assembly hall. Mandapa is there. Mandap, right? Then you have the Garbhagriha. Garbhagriha is here. Garbhagriha. Garbhagriha is here, right? This one. Then on top of the Garbhagriha, we have the spire. This is called Vimana. So Vimana includes the Garbhagriha. So Vimana includes the Garbhagriha. The spire along with the Garbhagriha is called Vimana. Then we have an Antarala. What is an Antarala? What's an Antarala? Hello? Gia says, sir, Loka Mahadevi temple at Pattadakal also has a twin temple. Yeah, that other temple is called Trilokya Mahadevi. King Vikramaditya II of the Badami Chalukyas had two wives. One was Loka Mahadevi, another was Trilokya Mahadevi. So she also, Trilokya Mahadevi also built a temple. But this Loka Mahadevi temple or Virupaksha temple is in the Kanchi style. It imitates the Kailashanatha temple at Kanchipuram. That's why it's called Kanchi style. Jia, okay. Yeah, Dinesh, you're right. Dinesh. Very good, Hemalata. Dinesh. Antarala connects the Garbhagriha with the Mandapa. Very good. Antarala connects the Mandapa to the Garbhagriha. Very good. Then we have subsidiary shrines. You can see here, there are subsidiary shrines. Subsidiary shrines. And there's a water tank. You can see there's a water tank in a Dravida temple. Now let us look at the pictures here first of all before we proceed. So here, please understand, Chola temples initially were small. Chola temple, when the Cholas first came to power, Vijayalaya, Parantaka, so under the Aditya the first. So Vijayalaya, Aditya the first, Parantaka the first. So you have small temples built by the Cholas. But under Rajaraja and his son Rajendra, we have magnificent temples, huge temples. And so you can see here on your screen. So these are small temples. Vijayalaya Cholishwara temple at Narthamalai, Tamil Nadu. Look at how small the temple is. So it is very beautiful though. It is very exquisite carvings are there. It is small in size and looks very beautiful. Vijayalaya Cholishwara temple, Narthamalai, Tamil Nadu, 9th century. Then we have Mover Koil. In Tamil language, so Kovil means temple. Kovil in Tamil language means temple. So Mover Koil in Kodambalur, Tamil Nadu. So this is another early example of an early Chola temple. Then you have Shiva on high on the facade. The facade is the entrance of the temple, the main entrance. That is, so Shiva is dancing on the facade of Mover Koil temple. And then under Rajaraja and Rajendra, they built magnificent temples, huge temples. So you can see here the Brihadeshwara temple. You can see on your screen the Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur. This is 217 feet in height. The height of the temple is 217 feet from the base to the summit, 217 feet. This is the tallest temple in medieval India. Happens to be the tallest temple in medieval India. And the capstone on top of this temple, you have a capstone. You can see the capstone here. I think I've told you this when I did conventional history of the Cholas. Okay. So on Dinesh says recently actor Vikram described about this temple. Okay. So you see on the top you have a capstone. This is 25 feet in height. And it weighs a massive 80,000 kgs. It weighs 80,000 kgs. This particular capstone. So it would have. So I believe they began to build a ramp. They began to build a bridge 6.5 kilometers away. They cut huge logs of wood. Huge trunks of trees were cut. It was smoothened out so that if you push the trunk of the tree, it will roll easily. It will roll easily. Okay, so it was smoothened out the trunks of the trees. Obviously, it would be seasoned wood so that they can have to take the weight of the huge boulder. And then from the quarry itself, it was transported onto those trunks of trees. And with the help of elephants, with the help of oxen, bulls, human labor, slowly on that bridge, which had been built starting 6.5 kilometers away, slowly, gently rising to a height of 200 feet. Gently rising to a height of 200 feet. It was slowly pushed, and then it was placed on top of the temple, that particular capstone, and then the carving was done. So it is considered to be a marvel of engineering even now. To carry a huge boulder, 80,000 kgs in weight, to that height during those days without any crane, indeed is a marvel of engineering, a marvel of human endeavor, human engineering, right? So the Brihadeshwara temple and Chola temples, please understand, this is one among the 3 living Chola temples. So there are 3 living Chola temples. What is the meaning of living Chola temples? You can see here, I have put this note here. Just hold on. I'll show you that. You see on your screen. These are the 3 living Chola temples. Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur, the Brihadeshwara temple at Gangaikonda Cholapuram. So this was built by Rajaraja. Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur, built by Rajaraja the first. The Brihadishwara temple at Gangaikonda Cholapuram was built by his son Rajendra the first. And then Airavateshwara temple at Kumbakonam. So the Airavateshwara temple was built by Raja the second, if I'm right, Raja the second. You can see here on your screen. This is the Airavateshwara temple at Kumbakonam, built by Raja the second. Raja the second. Now they are part of the great living Chola temples. What is the meaning of great living Chola temples? That is, whatever rituals were performed at the time of Rajendra, are even now performed, even after a gap of 1,000 years. So the Brihadishwara temple, as you can see here, the Brihadishwara temple was built in 1009 AD. It was built in 1009, and in 2009 AD, it completed 1,000 years of its existence. And whatever pujas, rituals are performed during the time of Raja are even now performed at this point in time. Therefore, they are called great living Chola temples. Yeah, they're called great living Chola temples for that reason, right? Yeah, thank God. Thank God they have survived. They have not been vandalized or destroyed, like many temples were destroyed when people like Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacked South India. So they have not been. Thank God for that. So they continue to exist and thrive. Now, please understand, Chola temples. So just hold on. So here, Chola temples were not just places of worship; they were socio-economic and cultural centers. Understand this? Chola temples. You can see here on your screen. This is the Brihadeshwara temple, elephant relief on the Brihadeshwara temple, Tamil written on the temple. Then, so it is 190 feet in 13 stories, 217 feet in height. It goes up to 13 stories, and the tower rises to a height of 190 feet. So that is the spire is 190 feet. From the base, it is 217 feet in height, and the capstone weighs 80 tons, 80,000 kgs. Then his son built another temple, that is the Gangaikonda Cholapuram temple. You remember Rajendra attacked North India. Rajendra Chola, he attacks North India. He conquers the Ganga Valley. Rajendra the first. He defeats Mahipala of Bengal. Mahipala, the Pala ruler of Bengal, and he takes the title Gangaikonda Cholan, the Chola who conquered the Ganga Valley, and he founded a city very near to Tanjavur. He called it Gangaikonda Cholapuram. So in that city called Gangaikonda Cholapuram, he built a temple, a new temple. This is the Gangaikonda Cholishwaran Koil. I have used a Tamil word here. Koil is a temple. So Gangaikonda Cholishwaram or Rajeshwara temple. It's also called Rajeshwara temple. What is unique about this temple is the huge Shivalinga. It is 13 feet in height. The Shivalinga is 13 feet in height, and the circumference of the linga is 59 feet. So massive linga, 59 feet in circumference, and the height of the linga is 13 feet. However, this temple remains incomplete. So this was built by Rajendra in 1035 AD, and it has a unique concave-shaped vimana. And the third temple I've already told you, Airavateshwara temple at Kumbakonam, built by Raja II in 1150 AD. Now, please understand, Chola temples were not just places of worship; they were socio-economic and cultural centers. I have given just hold on. Yeah. So please understand, Chola temples were not just places of worship; they were socio-economic and cultural centers. What is the meaning of that? You see, the king gave donations to the temple. So king gave lands, hundreds of acres of land were donated by the king or by merchants. And on these lands, you have a lot of things grown. Food was grown on these lands, fruits, flowers, etc. And whatever was grown on those lands, donated by the king and the merchants, went on to maintain a number of people who were working in the temple. Like, for example, we have priests, hundreds and thousands of priests, garland makers, cooks, sweepers, dancers, musicians. They all worked in that temple day and night. And whatever was grown on those lands went towards the maintenance of those people as well as the temple. You also have craft shops mushrooming around the temple, and and many things happened in the temple. They were not just places of worship. Many other things happened. For example, the panchayat, the village panchayat, might meet in a meeting. It might have its meeting in the holy precincts of the temple, and it might give its ruling there. Judgment inside the temple. So belief was, since it's a sacred place, a sanctified place, people will not lie because the in front of God. So that was a belief. So the panchayat will give its ruling there. A marriage may be solemnized in a temple. So marriage may be fixed in a temple. Okay, and the marriage later may be performed in the temple. Then on important occasions like Shivaratri, there may be a Bharatanatyam competition. So girls from hundreds of villages, surrounding villages, they might come to the temple to participate in this competition, and thousands of people will be viewing this competition. There may be a Harikatha, on Shivaratri night, people are awake, so there may be a program there in the temple, inside the temple, to keep the people entertained and awake. So what's called Harikatha, that may be there. So all these things happen in a temple. Not so Chola temples were not just places of worship; they were socio-economic and cultural centers. Even the guilds, the merchant guilds, might have their meeting in the temple premises. So all these things happened in a Chola temple. Did you understand? Hello, are you there with me, all of you? So they were not just places of worship; they were socio-economic and cultural centers. Right? Remember that. Then we have this person called French man, Pierre Sonarat. So Pierre Sonarat is supposed to have studied the Gopura. So first concise description of Gopura or gateway was given by him. The Europeans were very much interested in the Gopura because for them it resembled a pyramid. It looked like a pyramid for them. So they did a detailed study of the Gopura. And Gopuram or entrance gateway is a Pandyan innovation. It evolved during the Pandya period. I have given it here. You see this? Gopuram evolved during the reign of the Pandyas. So where does the word Gopuram comes from? You see, it is the village gate. Every morning, the cow herd, we used to take the cattle from the village to the grasslands, to the meadows, neighboring meadows. So all the cattle will be led away from the village through that cow gate. So the cow gate became later the city gate, and finally the Gopuram, monumental entrance to the temple. That's where the word Gopuram comes from. Did you get me that? So in the morning, he'll take all the cattle for grazing in the meadows. In the evening, he'll bring them back into the village through that gate. That was called cow gate. Later, it became the city gate of the town or the city, and then it became the monumental entrance to a temple. Came to be called Gopuram. Okay, so I have discussed about Chola temples, and of course, the main aspect is the central chamber, the Garbhagriha. The main highlight was that Garbhagriha, and you have huge vimanas. Vimana is what? What's a vimana? Vimana. So this is the sanctum sanctorum, and this is the main door. This is Shivalinga. Let us say this is the. So it is pyramidal in shape. It goes like this. It's like a pyramid. It's like a pyramid, right? And the spire along with the Garbhagriha is called Vimana. The spire along with the Garbhagriha is called Vimana. Yeah, sanctum sanctorum plus spire. Very good, Jia. That's called Vimana. And the topmost portion of a South Indian temple is called Shikhara. Shikhara. Right? So this is about Chola temples. So remember the 3 living Chola temples. Then the Cholas also were famous for their bronze images, which they cast according to the Sir Perdu method, the lost wax technique, Sir Perdu method. So they cast bronze images of Nataraja, Dakshinamurti, Kalyana Sundara, Vishnu images. You can see here, this is Shiva, has lot of dance, Nataraja, So when I do dance topic next weekend, we will talk about it. What is the symbolic significance of the Nataraja dance? So Shiva, you can see Nataraja has four hands. He's got 4 arms, and he is dancing in a particular posture. So it has a symbolic significance. UPSC had asked a question in the mains. So this is the Nataraja dance. We'll talk about it. He's dancing on a demon. You can see this is called Muyalaka. So we'll talk about it, right? So this is Shiva has Nataraja, and Shiva is also shown as Dakshinamurti. So Shiva is called the Lord of Knowledge, Dakshinamurti. And basically, this is the power of discrimination. The power of discrimination. When I say Lord of Knowledge, it is about discrimination. Because a very nice man might look like a crook, and a very crooked fellow might look like a very nice man if you don't have the power of discrimination. So Shiva is supposed to be the god who gives you the power to discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad, etc., so that you don't lose your judgment, right? Then of course Kalyana Sundara. Look at that. Kalyana Sundara is what? Shiva is marrying Parvati. You can see the beautiful bronze cast. So Shiva, look at his body. Shiva's body is beautifully contoured body. His very athletic legs, thighs, arms, etc., chest. And then he's holding Parvati's hand. They're getting married. And Vishnu has come along with Lakshmi. So Vishnu is standing next to Shiva, and Lakshmi is standing next to Parvati. This is Kalyana Sundara. That is Shiva is marrying Parvati. And look at Parvati, the way she's standing, slightly bent towards one side. Shy. Sirperdi method, Hemalata, I have told you when I did the Harappan civilization. Lost wax technique. Lost wax technique. Do you remember lost wax technique? Harappans used to cast bronze images through this method. Who is able to explain this? Do you remember, all of you? Hemalata, have not attended Harappan civilization. Kennedy has remembered it. Kennedy remembers. What about others? Lost wax technique. Ketan says no. Okay. Now look here. Gia remembers. So it's okay. So many people don't know. So here, Sir Perdu method is lost wax technique. Not dye, Baba. Where is dye here, Ganesh? Where is dye, Ganesh? You dye a cloth with color. Look, Shilpa is explaining. First made with mud, then wax is poured inside the statue. Okay. Did you get me? That is how it is made, Hemalata. So first of all, you see on your screen. So this is, let us say, they have to make this image of Shiva. Okay. Let us say they have to make the image of Shiva. It is first made in wax, beeswax. It is made in beeswax with all the details. Okay. And then beeswax is, your honeybee. Honeybee collects the honey in its in the beehive, and the beehive is like a wax. Okay, so that is called beeswax. So they will collect the beeswax, and they'll make a model of Shiva like this in beeswax with all the details, with all the jewelry, etc. Right, and then they will cover it with a paste of mud. The mud paste is put on the beeswax model, and then once the mud plaster dries up, so they will heat up the plaster on a flame. So the beeswax starts melting. They would have made a hole on top of the mud plaster. Hemalata, are you able to understand? So you have the so imagine this is the statue. Okay, this is made of beeswax. First of all, made of beeswax. Then a paste of mud is applied on this. A thick paste of mud mixed with water. It is applied all over the wax model, and a hole is left on the mud plaster. So once the mud becomes hard, this mold is placed on a flame, on a flame. So what happens is the heat penetrates through the mud plaster, and the wax inside starts melting. Okay, so they will pour all the wax through that hole. So what is inside now? It's hollow. Where earlier there was wax, beeswax, it is now hollow. Then the Harappans used to take copper and tin. So they'll melt copper, then they'll melt tin in separate vessels, then they'll pour it in a common vessel. So it becomes bronze liquid, and that bronze liquid is poured into the hole. Okay, where there was earlier beeswax is now covered in bronze liquid. So once it starts overflowing, they stop pouring. They'll allow the liquid bronze to solidify, and then they'll remove the plaster, mud plaster, and then they will give it a polish. This is called lost wax technique. Did you get me, Hemalata? Now, the Cholas used to use Panchaloha, a combination of 5 metals. Harappans used to only use copper and tin, but the Cholas used to use Panchaloha, a combination of 5 metals with more gold content. And they also used to use Ashtadhatu. Ashtadhatu is a combination of 8 metals. Combination of 8 metals. So this is called lost wax technique. Okay. So go through this. Then we come to Rashtrakuta art. Rashtrakuta art. Now Rashtrakutas. So this is about Cholas. Then we come to Rashtrakutas. Rashtrakutas, they ruled over present parts of Maharashtra, Karnataka. They were of Kannada origin. They were patrons of Jainism. They used to worship. Most of their kings were Jains. The greatest was Amoga Varsha Nrupatunga. You remember? He cut away his thumb, the left hand of his thumb, and he dedicated it to the goddess Mahalakshmi of Kolhapur. Right? So this is Amoga Varsha Nrupatunga. Now the Rashtrakutas, they built cave temples. And the biggest rock cut temple is built by the Rashtrakutas. This is the Kailasa temple at Ellora, built by Krishna the First. So Rashtrakuta art is mostly about removal. They did not construct anything new. They did construct many places, but it was more about removal. So the entire mountain was converted into a temple. So whatever was not required, that stone was removed, and the end result was a temple. So it's more about removal. They emphasize on cave architecture, the Rashtrakutas, and their temples are found at Ellora and Elephanta. So Krishna the First built the monolithic Kailasha temple at Ellora. So has anybody gone to Ellora? So if you have not gone to Ellora, doesn't matter. Go on YouTube. You go on YouTube and you type Kailasa temple at Ellora, Kailasa temple of Ellora. You'll get videos. You look at those videos, you'll be amazed. Entire mountain has been carved into a temple. I put pictures here. You can see here. This is the Kailasanatha temple at Ellora. This is inspired by the Kailasanatha temple at Kanchipuram. So this is another picture you can see. Kailasanatha temple at Ellora, cave number 16, in the present-day Aurangabad district of Maharashtra. So entire mountain has been carved into a temple. So 1 million metric tons of rock has been removed. It took 100 to 150 years to build this temple. 6 to 7 generations of workers have worked on this temple. So this is sometimes also called Karnataka Dravida style. Karnataka Dravida style. Right? Rashtrakuta art. So we have the French Indologist Anquetil du Perron. So Anquetil du Perron, he minutely studied the rock-cut caves of Ellora in 1758. And Ellora caves were created on an ancient trade route passing from Paithan to Ujjain in central India. So Paithan is in Maharashtra. So from Paithan to Ujjain, there was one ancient trade route passing, and the Ellora caves are located very close to it. And the Kailasa temple at Ellora is considered to be one of the wonders of the world. So then we have the Elephanta Caves dedicated to Lord Shiva. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Elephanta Caves. So if you take a ferry from the Gateway of India, if you go to Mumbai, you go to the Gateway of India, you have ferry service. It's closed in the monsoon season. So in 1 hour, you reach an island called Elephanta, locally called Gharapuri in Marathi language. So 1 hour by ferry, you reach this island called Gharapuri. And there we have 6 caves. There are 6 caves there, 6 caves. All these caves are dedicated to Shiva. So this was again, these caves belong to the Rashtrakuta period. Okay. So here it is called Elephanta because I believe there was a natural stone which looked like the face of an elephant. And the Portuguese who conquered this island in 1534 called this island as Elephanta because there was a natural stone which looked like the face of an elephant overlooking the ocean. So it's called Elephanta for that reason. We'll come back here. So there are some beautiful caves here and some great sculptures. The Ardhanarishwara sculpture, Mahesha Murthy sculpture. These are the more standout sculptures. Ardhanarishwara, you can see here, Elephanta Cave, Garapuri, Mumbai, Elephanta Caves. So this is Ardhanarishwara, Shiva in male-female form. Ardhanarishwara. You can see here, this is the female aspect of Shiva. There's a breast scene, and then this is no breast on the right side. The ear lobes are also different. He is wearing different earrings. So, right? So this is Ardhanarishwara, and this is Mahesha Murthy Cave. So 25 feet statue, 25 feet, three-face Shiva. Shiva has creator, preserver, destroyer. So this is seen in Elephanta, Mahesha Murthy Cave. So these are the Jogeshwari caves in Mumbai. So I put a lot of pictures. So you have the Rashtrakutas, famous rock cut temples in Maharashtra. They are Dumar Lena, Dashavatara cave temples at Ellora, Jogeshwari temple near Mumbai. So these are all belonging to the Rashtrakuta period. Jogeshwari caves, Mumbai. So Adam Hardy categorizes their building activity into three schools. First school is in Ellora. Many of these temples are found in Ellora. Second school, Aihole, Badami, Patadakal. And third is at Sirval near Gulbarga. So remember the important ones. Don't worry. Don't try to remember everything. Remember the Kailasha temple at Ellora, built by Krishna the first, greatest rock cut temple in the world. Remember the Mahesha Murthy cave in Elephanta. Such things you remember. Don't try to remember everything. Then Ellora site. This is Ellora for you. You can see here. This is Ellora caves. About 100 kilometers from Ajanta, you have Ellora. There are 34 caves here. There are 34 Buddhist caves. These Buddhist caves were renovated and dedicated to Hinduism. So they renovated these Buddhist caves, the Rashtrakutas, and rededicated the rock cut shrines. So all the three religions are represented in Ellora. That is Buddhism, Jainism, and Brahmanism. Ajanta only Buddhism. In Ajanta, you only have Buddhism as a theme. Whereas at Ellora, we have all the three religions represented. Remember that, please. Such things you remember: Jainism, Buddhism, as well as Brahmanical religion. Both Shiva and Vishnu. Both Shiva and Vishnu is there among Brahmanical gods, and apart from Jain and Buddhist deities. Is it a monolithic? Yeah, it is. It is. Dinesh, entire mountain has been carved into a temple. It is the greatest rock cut temple in the world. Dinesh, entire mountain, not just a boulder, entire mountain has been carved into a temple. Hemalata Shikara of Kailasha temple made first carving done from top to bottom. I'm not sure about that, Hemalata. The Rathas at Mahabalipuram were carved from top to bottom. Probably the same technique was used, I suppose. From top to bottom, they might have done it, but I'm not very sure about that. You're sure? Hemalata is sure. How are you sure, Hemalata? Are you an archaeologist? Are you an archaeologist? Or you've gone there? You've studied about Ellora? You may be right, though. You may be right, though. So it's the same technique we see at Kalugumalai in near Kanyakumari. We have the Pandyas who have carved an entire mountain into a temple, which is unfinished Shiva temple at Kalugumalai near Kanyakumari. Similarly, the rock cut temples at Masroor in Kangra, Himachal Pradesh, they were also built around the same time, around 8th century AD. And later, the magnificent Kailasa temple was built at Ellora. So in all these carvings, it has been done from top to down. So probably even at Kailasha temple at Ellora, it has been done from top to down. Yeah. Hemalata, are you there? Clear? Okay, yeah, you're right, you're right. So Ellora caves are dedicated to all the three gods. Remember that. Jainism, Buddhism, Brahmanical faiths. So these are the Ellora caves. I put some pictures, Dumar Lena. So in Marathi language, Leni means cave. Lena or Leni is a cave. So don't get confused. Dhumar Cave, Dhumar Lena, cave number 29, Ellora. These are the statues inside, the sculptures inside Ellora, Dhumar Lena cave number 29. Look at those huge, gigantic sculptures of Hindu gods. This is Shiva slaying the demon Tripurantaka. So Shiva is supposed to have killed a demon. He's supposed to have destroyed 3 cities of the demons with one arrow. Tripurantaka. 3 is 3. Tripurantaka. 3 is 3. Pura is city. Pura is city. Antaka is destroyer. One who destroyed the 3 cities of the demons with one arrow. So Tripurantaka form of Shiva. This is displayed in cave number 29 at Ellora. Then Shiva and Parvati at Ellora. Ravana Anugraha Murti. I've told you the story when I did Rashtrakuta period. Ketan, I don't know about Puri flag, temple flag. Let us stick to the topic here. I don't know about the flag part. I don't know, Ketan. Say something about Puri temple's flag, sir. Its glowing style alternate the air. That what is the scientific reason? I have no idea about these things. Then Dashavatara cave number 15 at Ellora. So that is Vishnu shown in 10 avatars. Dashavatara. Vishnu in 10 avatars seen at Ellora. So Kashi, so the Rashtrakutas also built temples at Pattadakal, Kashi Vishwanatha temple at Pattadakal, Jain Narayana temple at Pattadakal. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, these 2 temples. This is the Kashi Vishwanatha temple at Pattadakal, Kashi Vishwanatha temple, and the Jain Narayana temple at Pattadakal. Both are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So in course of time, it became stellar. So Rashtrakuta temples in course of time became like a star, and it became pretty prominent under the Hoysalas. Okay, and Pandharpur became an important center of the Vitoba cult, Panduranga cult during the Rashtrakuta period. Pandharpur. So Pandharpur is a city town on the banks of the Chandrabhaga river, a tributary of the Bhima. So we have the river Chandrabhaga. I'll use another page, I suppose. I'll write it here. Pandharpur on the banks of the river Chandrabhaga. A tributary of the Bhima, river Bhima. So Krishna is called Vitthal in this temple, and Rukmini is called Rukumai. So Vitthal with Rukmini at Pandharpur. So this became an important center of Vitthal cult, Panduranga cult during the Rashtrakuta period. Then we come to Hoysala art. Let's take a 5 minutes break and come back. Let's take a 5 minutes break and come back. Hello? Yeah, 5 minutes break and come back and start with Hoysalas. Yeah, good evening. Can we continue? Hello, yeah. So, Hoysala art. Hoysala art. Let's continue. Recently, three Hoysala temples have been included in the permanent list of the UNESCO World Heritage List. These three temples are the ones at Belur, Halebid, and Somanathpur. So it has been included recently in the UNESCO World Heritage List, and therefore this topic becomes very important, relevant for your exam, both prelims and mains. You can have questions in both prelims and mains, or in only prelims or only mains. So let's talk about this. Let us deal with this topic, Hoysala art. So what do you know about Hoysala art? Anybody? What do you know about Hoysala art? Anybody? So has anybody visited Belur, Halebid, Somanathpur? Okay. Jia says star platform. Okay, very good. Jia. Anybody has any idea? Have you read it or you have visited any of these temples built by the Hoysalas at Belur, Halebid, Somanathpur? No? Jia says star platform. Ganesh says no. Okay. What about others? None of you? Soft soapstone. Okay. Kennedy says soft soapstone. Okay. Locally available soapstone has been used. Okay. Then what else? Okay. Doesn't matter. Now Hoysalas, intensive carving. Okay. Intensive carving. Okay. Very good. Now we'll come back here. You see, the Hoysalas were under the Kalyana Chalukyas. You remember? Kalyana Chalukyas. So the Hoysalas were one of the feudatories of the Kalyana Chalukyas. And Kalyana Chalukyas fought against Cholas. They fought against Cholas. The Kalyana Chalukyas also fought against the Paramaras of Malwa. So the Hoysalas also assisted the Kalyana Chalukyas in their wars. So that took the Hoysalas to various parts of India. They went to North India, they went to South India, came down south and to other parts of India as feudatories of the Kalyana Chalukyas. And once they went to other parts of India, the Hoysalas, they borrowed or they picked up various architects, engineers, sculptors, masons. So therefore, the Hoysala art is an amalgam. It's a mixture of Nagara, Dravida, Vesara styles. It's a mixture of Nagara, Dravida, and Vesara styles. Now, very unique to Hoysala art is this. You understand this? Very simple. Hoysalas, um, they built star-shaped temples. They are in the form of it is in the form of a star, okay, like a star shape. So since it is in the shape of a star, it gave more space for carvings. So if it is a straight temple, it's a square temple or a rectangular temple, you don't have much space for carving. But if it is in the shape of a star, you have more space for wall carvings. And so therefore, you have elaborate carvings on the temples. And generally, in a temple, understand this. Generally, in a temple, how many garbhagrihas are there? In a temple, how many sanctorums are there? One. So you will say one. That is true. But in Hoysala temples, we don't have just one. You could have 1 to 5. You can have up to five garbhagrihas. A temple with one garbhagriha is called Ekakuta. Ekakuta. So Hindi mein Eka, so Kannada also Ekakuta. Ekakuta. One with two garbhagrihas, Dvikuta. No, Do kuta. Dvikuta. Three kuta. Teen kuta. Three kuta. 4. Chatushkuta. Chaturkuta, no? Chatur or char. Chaturkuta. Chatushkuta. Chatushkuta. And 5, Panchakuta. So you can have up to 5 Garbhagrihas in a Hoysala temple. Very, very unique. Then the temple has been built on a Jagati or a platform, 3.5 to 5.5 feet in height. So it is in the shape of a star. I'll show you the picture. Picture makes so much of a difference here. You can see here. Just hold on. See here. This is a platform. You can see here. This is a platform. This platform or Jagati is about 3.5 feet to 5.5 feet in height, and it runs all around the temple. And the pradakshina is outside the temple. The parikrama or pradakshina is outside the temple. You can see here people are going around the temple. They're taking a parikrama or a pradakshina of the temple. So this is another aspect of the Hoysala temples. Third aspect is all around the temple we have friezes running, bands running. I'll show you the picture. Just hold on. You see here on your screen. On your screen, you see here. On the base, you have elephants. So elephants symbolize stability. Elephants symbolize stability. So all around the temple, in that star shape, you have elephants, depicted. Then next is the lions. Lions symbolize strength. You can see here. Just hold on. You can see here, marching playful elephants. First one, marching playful elephants. This is number 2, lions. Then thin miniature scroll. This one is thin miniature scroll. This is number 3. Then you have number 4, horsemen in various poses. And horse symbolizes speed. So horse symbolizes speed. So horsemen in different postures. Then next, above the horse, thin miniature scroll again. Then above that, you have friezes narrating legends from Hindu texts. So various stories from Hindu texts like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, etc. Then Makaras, crocodile. So you have crocodile on top. Crocodiles. Hamsa is swan. Swans are shown. Swan and peacocks. Then professionals. So barber cutting the hair, a washerman washing the clothes, okay, or a carpenter working on his art or skill. So various professionals are shown, along with daily life of people alternately standing and sitting. Mythical creatures, festivals, ceremonies, artha, kama, dharma scenes, including courtship and mithuna, that is eroticism and sex, various occupations, some mythical scenes, large image panels, deities, spiritual stories from Hindu texts are shown. So these are running all across the temple. On the outer walls of the boundary, or outer walls of the temple, we have friezes running. Okay, that is very unique to Hoysala temples, right? Then they have used locally available soapstone, soapstone. What is unique about this soapstone? It's called chloritic schist. So I believe when the carving is being done, it is pretty soft, not butter soft. It is on the softer side. It is not as hard as granite. So it is soft, but relatively soft. Once the temple is completed and the carving has been finished, over a period of time, it becomes harder and harder. That is very unique to the stone, chloritic schist. So locally available stone called chloritic schist or soapstone, and kanashile, hard stone, has been used. So, right. So you have the temple is built in an asterisk shape, star shape. We have a jagati or a platform running all around the temple, 3.5 feet to 5.5 feet in height. Then the circumambulation is outside the temple, that is the pradakshina or parikrama. Then we have on the outer walls, we have beautiful sculptures. And Hoysala art is called jeweler's art. Hoysala art is called jeweler's art. Why it is called jeweler's art? Because we have beautiful, intricate carvings seen in their temples. Very minute details, even small, images have minute details. For example, if there's a lady smiling, okay, the teeth is also shown in the stone. The teeth is shown when you open your mouth and you smile, your teeth is seen, isn't it? That is also shown. So it is like why it's called jeweler's art, because during marriage, in the marriages, women wear elaborate jewels with lot of intricate designs, and the more intricate the design, the more costly that jewel is or jewelry is. So like that, you have elaborate designs seen in stone in Hoysala temples. That's why it's called jeweler's art. So outer walls of the temple, sculptures, basement, towers, shikaras, late turned and polished pillars, and you have narrative and descriptive dimensions. A lot of stories are depicted in these sculptures. Then you have ornate carvings all around the temple. I told you, you have bands of horizontal friezes. Then bracket figures, Shila Balikas, Madanikas are shown. So, right, that is Shila Balikas are beautiful feminine figures. Madanikas are male dancers. That is placed between the eaves and the pillars. What are eaves? Where the wall joins the roof. That's called eave. This is called an eave. So between the eaves and the pillars, we have the Shila Balikas and Madanikas idols shown. Then we have an inverted lotus. The center of the roof has an inverted lotus. That's called Bhuvaneshwari, in the shape of an inverted lotus, Bhuvaneshwari. Then we have different types of sanctums. I told you, depending upon the number of sanctums, you could have one sanctum, Ekakuta, Dvikuta is twin sanctum, Trikuta is triple sanctum, Chatushkuta, Panchakuta. And then very unique to Hoysala temples is the sculptor has signed his name. He has written his name and he has put his signature. So, and we have some more details mentioned by the sculptor and the masons. So we get to know more about them, who made that particular sculpture, or who built a part of the temple, who carved it. All those things are mentioned. So this is unique to Hoysala temples. Are you there with me? So I've given you all the details here. So the first temple under Hoysala style is this Chennakeshava temple or Vijayanagarana temple. I told you Hoysala Vishnuvardhana, the greatest of the Hoysala kings, he defeated the Cholas and he drew them away. He threw them away from the Kannada speaking areas. He conquered Talakadu and Nolambavadi regions, and he takes the title Talakadu Ganda, Nolambavadi Ganda. And to commemorate this particular victory over the Cholas, he built two temples. One is at Talakadu, and the other is at Belur. That is the Chennakeshava temple or Vijaya Narayana temple at Belur. This is a Chennakeshava temple or Vijaya Narayana temple at Belur. This is a Ekakuta temple. This has only one sanctum. This is the first temple under Hoysala style. It took 103 years to complete. One temple took 103 years to complete. The Chennakeshava temple at Belur. Then Kappe Channigaraya temple at Belur and Hoysaleshwara Shantaleshwara temple at Halebir are Dvikuta temples. So a temple with two sanctorums. Somanathpura is a Trikuta temple. So, right? So these are the important temples built. Then of course, Ketamalla, Vishnuvardhana's general Ketamalla built the Hoysaleshwara Shantaleshwara temple at Halebir. Then Keshava temple at Somanathpur was built by Soma Dandanayaka in 1268 AD. It's a Trikuta temple. So Belur, Halebid and Somnathpur were inscribed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites in on September 18, 2023. So make a specific study of Hoysala temples. Whatever is required, I have covered it in detail in the PPTs. That should be enough. You don't need to read more than that. You can see here Chennakeshwar temple, elephants, lions, horses, friezes. They go all around the temple. Right? So this is Kappe Chennagara temple. It is at the Dvikuta temple. You can see here friezes running all around the band, all around the temple. You have perforated windows made of stone for light and air, free flow of light and air. And I have put some sculptures here. Durga has Mahishasura Mardini killing buffalo demon. So intricate details are here. So whenever you visit such historical places, wherever it is in India, going there for the first time, you don't know anything about that historical place, take the help of a guide. You have Archaeological Survey of India guides there. So you pay the required fee, and that will also help that person to survive and maintain his family. And that person will tell you a lot of things, because suddenly if you go there and you just take a round, you'll not understand head and tail. and you may never visit that place again. But once you listen to the guide, you'll start appreciating the beauty of that place, the importance of that place, what is the significance of those sculptures, carvings, and so on and so forth. Right? So these are the various sculptures I have put here. So this is supposedly Darpana Sundari, supposed to be Shantala Devi, the chief queen of Vishnuvardhana. You can see here a dance. No, she's supposedly Shantala Devi. She's looking herself in the mirror, and this lady is putting a kumkum, looking herself in the mirror, etc. So look at the elaborate carving of the skirt, Dwarapala statue in the Hoysaleshwara temple. According to the Archaeological Survey of India, this is the best Nandi, most beautiful Nandi in India. In among all the temples, most beautiful Nandi is from the Hoysaleshwara temple at Hailebid. Most beautiful Nandi comes from here, according to the ASI. Not according to me, according to the Archaeological Survey of India. So with all the decoration, look at the decoration of the Nandi there, with all the, it looks very real when you go and see there. Okay, then the Keshava temple at Somnathpur, built by Soma Dandanayaka. It is in the shape of a 16-point star. This is the Keshava temple at Somnathpur. This is also included in the permanent list of the UNESCO World Heritage List. So it is in the shape of a 16-point star. Okay, this is about Hoysala temples. Are you there with me, all of you? This is about Hoysala temples. Any doubts? Any questions? Clear? Can we go to the next segment, Vijayanagara art? Vijayanagara art. Okay. So Vijayanagara, no doubt. Okay, thank you. So we come back here, Vijayanagara art. So Vijayanagara art is called Provida style, Vijayanagara style or Provida style. And according to the UNESCO, their architecture represents a unique blend of multi-ethnic, multi-religious society. So it reflects a highly evolved, multi-religious and multi-ethnic society. The Vijayanagara art, and art and architecture, also called Provida style. Now, so multi-ethnic, multi-religious society is seen in their temples. Now, Vijayanagar kings ruled over major parts of present-day Andhra, Karnataka, and parts of Tamil Nadu. And we still have a number of temples in all these three states, in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra. Like, for example, at Hampe, the capital of Vijayanagar kings, Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu, Madurai, Tirupati, Tadipatri, Lepakshi. These are all the places where we still have a number of temples built by the Vijayanagar kings. So let us discuss the Vijayanagar style or the Provida style of architecture. The temples were built of granite. They consist of Ardha Mandapa, that is entrance porch, Ardha Mandapa, Mahamantapa, Garbhagriha, Sukhanasi. What's a Sukhanasi? An external ornamented feature over the entrance to the Garbhagriha or inner shrine. So they just above the Garbhagriha, you have one design that's called Sukhanasi. Okay, then you have multi-angled pillars and piers, and the most commonly animal depicted on their pillars is the hippogriff, supernatural horse. Hippogriff or supernatural horse. That is the most common animal depicted on their pillars. Then we have temple wall containing sculptures of folklore, gods, goddesses, elephants, horses, swans. Sangita Mantapa. Sangita Mantapa is a pavilion, a mantapa or a pavilion meant for music, dance, drama. So Sangita Mantapa. Then Vasanta Mantapa to celebrate Vasantotsavam or arrival of spring season. So Vasanta Mantapa was built by Achyutaraya in the 1460s. I have mentioned this here. Achyutaraya of the Aravidu dynasty. So Achyutadevaraya. So he was the one who, Tuluva dynasty. Achyutaraya succeeded Krishnadevaraya, isn't it? Yeah. So Achyutaraya in the 1460s, he was the one who started this Vasanta Mantapa to celebrate the spring season, arrival of spring season. Then mantapas, open pavilion for the consort of the deity, the god, goddess, the chief queen, wife of the god. Kalyana mandapa for divine weddings, where the god and the goddess are wedded or married. Amman shrine, a separate shrine for the goddess, the chief consort of the god. And huge gopurams they built. You see, in a Chola temple, what do we see? In a Chola temple, I've shown you, there's only one gopuram. So if this is the main temple and the Vimana is here, you have a gopuram here in the main entrance. But in Vijayanagar temples, or we see 3 more gopuras added. So 3 more gopuras. So 4 gopuras in the 4 directions. So such gopuras are called Raya gopuras. Huge gopurams were built on the gateways of temples. So they are called Raya gopurams. High enclosure walls, high boundary walls because of frequent threat from the Brahmanis. So Vijayanagar kings fought frequently against the Brahmanis. So every time there used to be frequent wars. So to protect their temples from loot and plunder, they have put high boundary walls. Right? So these are the important features of Vijayanagar temples. Their monuments can be classified into 2 categories, religious and secular. So what are the religious buildings and what are the secular buildings? So I have made a division here, religious buildings. We have temples at Hampe. So what are the important temples at Hampe, capital of Vijayanagar kings? Hazara Rama Swami temple, built by Devaraya II. So why is it called Hazara Rama temple? You can see here, this is the Hazara Rama Swami temple at Hampe, because inside this temple we have 1,000 Ramayana paintings. Inside this temple we have 1,000 Ramayana paintings. That's why it's called Hazara Ramaswamy temple. The Tulabhara Mantapa was built by Krishnadevaraya within the temple to commemorate his victory over the Gajapatis. What is Tulabhara Mantapa? Hello? Tulabhara Mantapa. Tulabhara Mantapa, you see, Tulabhara is Tulabhar, on the king's birthday, what will happen is there'll be a weighing scale. Okay, there'll be a weighing scale like this. There'll be a weighing scale, and the king will sit here on one weighing scale. He'll sit and equal, just a little bit more than his weight of gold, diamond, pearls, emeralds, rubies, etc. All the wealth is put. Gold coins, silver coins, etc. is put, and that should be slightly above the king's weight, and that is distributed amongst the poor and the needy. That's called Tulabhara Mantapa. Palak, I don't know. I don't have any mentorship number with me. Yeah, gold. That is called Tulabhara Mantapa. Okay. So that is so that was built by Krishnadevaraya within the Hazara Rama temple. Then Vittala temple, also known as Vijaya Vittala temple, built by again Devaraya II. This is the Vijaya Vittala temple on your screen. Vijaya Vittala temple, and in this temple there are 56 pillars, stone pillars, and when you tap gently on those stone pillars, they create sound. They are popularly called Saregama pillars. So one British officer, he wanted to find out what is inside that stone pillar, that it is able to create music on its own. So with a hammer, he broke that pillar, and that was damaged, and nothing was found inside that. So even now, the other pillars make no music if you gently tap on them. So that is very unique. It's made of stone, mind you. So Vittala temple, also known as Vijaya Vittala temple, built by Devaraya II. And Krishnadevaraya added a Kalyana Mandapa and a monolithic chariot in this temple. To this temple, you see this? There's a chariot here, monolithic chariot. So Krishnadevaraya went to Orissa. He conquered Orissa. He defeated the Gajapati king, Prataparudha Gajapati, and Prataparudha Gajapati of Orissa gave his daughter in marriage to Krishnadevaraya. So at that point in time, Krishnadevaraya went to Konark. He saw the Sun Temple at Konark. And he was so much impressed with the Sun Temple that he wanted something like that in his capital. So, and the result is this: the stone temple, the stone chariot in the premises of the Vijaya Vittala temple. It's a monolithic chariot. So that was constructed on the orders of Krishnadevaraya. So I mentioned that here. Then it's popularly called Saregama pillars. There are 56 musical pillars. Achyutaraya temple, Mahanavami Dibba. So these are the important religious buildings at Hampe. Then we have temples at other places built by the Vijayanagar kings. So for example, the Veerabhadra temple at Lepakshi in Andhra. So Veerabhadra temple at Lepakshi. Lepakshi is a town in Andhra. Hello, are you there with me? So there's a story behind this temple, Lepakshi. I'll tell you the story. Just to keep you amused. Mahanavami Dibba. I'll come to that. Mahanavami Dibba is, I'll show you the picture. Where is this Mahanavami Dibba? I think so this is Mahanavami Dibba. Puja, just hold on. I'll come to that. So there's a town called Lepakshi. This is about very near to Bangalore. About 120, 130 kilometers from Bangalore. On the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway, you get a town. You just have to go off the highway, about 20 kilometers inside. You have a town called Lepakshi. So there's one temple there, Veerabhadra temple. So how is this name Lepakshi came? So, I keep traveling here and there, so I get to know all these things, and some local guides tell you some fantastic stories. So it's pretty amusing to listen to them. So, but people believe that this story to be true. So, what is the story? How did this name Lepakshi come about? I believe, Jatayu story. Sita was kidnapped by Ravana in his plane. Pushpaka Viman. So he kidnaps Sita and is taking her in the Pushpaka Viman to Lanka. And one vulture called Jatayu notices this. Sita was crying for help, and Jatayu understood that she is being kidnapped. So Jatayu flew, and he fought against Ravana. He tried to stop Ravana, but what did Ravana do? He took a swipe at the bird and cut off one of its wings. So Jatayu could not fly, it fell down onto the ground. Right? It fell down into you know the story, right? Ramayana story. So Jatayu fell to the ground, and when he was being kidnapped, when she was being kidnapped by Ravana, what was Sita doing? She was throwing her garments, no, not garments, I'm sorry, jewels. I'm sorry for that. She was throwing her jewels here and there so that, she leaves a trail. She leaves a trail behind. So looking at that trail, Lakshmana and Rama were coming. They did not know who had kidnapped Sita. And then they come to the spot where Jatayu was uh, was struggling for its life. It had lost one of its wings, and looking at the bird, Rama, that the bird is the one which tells Rama, your wife Sita has been kidnapped by Ravana, the king of Lanka. So that is the time when the brothers come to know that who was the actual kidnapper of Sita. So when Rama sees the bird struggling for its life, and it is, taking its last breaths, what does he do? He puts some water. He puts some water into the mouth of the bird, Jatayu. Le pakshi, put some water. So, thoda pani le lo pakshi, le pakshi, and that became le pakshi. So that is the story. Did you get me? Right? So that's how the name Lepakshi came. If you go to that place, Lepakshi, so if you go to that place, Lepakshi, you see, you on the hill, you see a huge statue, of stone made of Jatayu, and the biggest monolithic Nandi in India. The biggest monolithic Nandi in India is found in this city. It is 27 feet in length and about 15 feet in height. The biggest monolithic Nandi. I have put the picture of that Nandi here. So this is in the premises. It is on the main road itself, in the town main road, but the temple is just adjacent to that. So this is Veerabhadra temple, Lepakshi in Andhra, built by Veeranna and Virupanna, governors of Penukonda, right? And these are the various temples built by the Vijayanagar kings. So I made a chart for you, for your convenience. Vidyashankara temple at Sringeri in Karnataka, 1,000-pillared Basadi or Tribhavana Chudamani Basadi in Mudabidri, again in Karnataka, Ramalingeshwara temple at Tadipatri in Andhra, Ekambaranatha in Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu, Shiva temple at Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu, Ranganatha temple at Srirangam, Tamil Nadu, Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple. An addition has been made by the Vijayanagar kings. This is in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. So these are the religious temples, religious places, temples built by the Vijayanagar kings. Now, what are the secular buildings? Secular buildings are in the Indo-Islamic style. So a lot of Muslims also were there in the Vijayanagar army, in the Vijayanagar kingdom. Similarly, a lot of Hindus were also there in the Bahmani states, right? So you have mixture of Muslim and Hindu elements. So we have examples here built of bricks, mortar, granite. All are located in Hampe, Lotus Mahal or Kamal Mahal, and Queen's Palace. And this is in the Sarvato Bhadra style. It's a double-storied building. It's in the Sarvato Bhadra style. What is the meaning of Sarvato Bhadra? I'll tell you. So this is the Lotus Mahal. You can see on your screen. So these are the musical pillars. Just hold on. This is the stone chariot, Vijaya Vitala temple at Hampe. Beautiful monolithic chariot. Then these are the musical pillars inside the Vijaya Vitala temple in Hampe. Musical pillars made of stone. This is the Mahanavami Dibba. Somebody asked me about this Dibba. Who is this? Hemalata, I think. or is it Puja? Puja, I think. Puja asked me about this. So here, what is this Mahanamami Dibba? So, so this is a platform, a stone platform, which was constructed on the orders of Krishnadevaraya. Navaratri, what is called Dasara, in Karnataka it's called Dasara, Navaratri, was a state festival under the Vijayanagar kings. So the emperor, Krishnadevaraya, would sit here. He would sit here on top of this platform. He'll sit here on a throne, obviously, and then he will watch the proceedings, match pass, wrestling bouts, wrestling competition, sword fighting, archery. So all these were witnessed by him. This is Mahanamami Dibba or Dasara Dibba, built by Krishnadevaraya in 1513. Okay, did you get me that? Who was that? Puja, is it? Puja was the one who asked me this. That's called Mahanamami Dibba. This is hippogriff, mythical horse. As you can see on your screen, this is called the mythical horse, hippogriff. Right? This is Kamal Mahal. Kamal Mahal, Kamal has, is lotus. And this is in the Sarvato Bhadra style. Sarvato Bhadra means it is open from all the four directions. You can enter this Mahal or building from all the four directions. That's called Sarvato Bhadra style. And it has got both Hindu and Muslim architecture features. Okay. These are the elephant stables in Hampe. So each elephant had its small, garage for itself. Some say these were administrative buildings, but mostly it is believed to be elephant stables. This is a Queen's Bath. Queen's Bath at Hampe. So Vijayanagar kings had hundreds and thousands of queens. So water was supplied from the nearby tank, and you can imagine women swimming here, diving, creating a lot of noise. The queens of the Vijayanagar kings, Queen's Bath. This is the Pushkarni stepwell in Hampe. Pushkarni stepwell. Then you have the bronze statues of Krishnadevaraya with his queens in the Tirumala Tirupati temple in Andhra Pradesh. So on the top of the hill you have Tirumala, and we have the famous Balaji temple or Venkateshwara temple there. And inside the temple, if you have noticed, we have the bronze statues of Sri Krishnadevaraya with his two queens. So he visited this temple after conquering Udayagiri. From the Gajapatis. So he visited this temple and he made generous donations to this temple. Look at the cap worn by Krishnadevaraya. Look at the cap there. So he had got two wives, Chinnama Devi, Tirumala Devi. This is the biggest Nandi in India. On your screen, this is in the Veerabhadra temple in Lepakshi, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Lepakshi, Andhra Pradesh. Nandi, 27 feet in height, in length, 15 feet in height. Largest monolithic Nandi in India. So it again belongs to the Vijayanagar period. Most beautiful Nandi is where? Students, most beautiful Nandi, it is in the Hoysaleshwara temple. Yeah, very good. Jia, Hemalata. Hoysaleshwara temple at Halebid. Right? Biggest Nandi is this. Then this is the largest single fresco in the Lepakshi temple, that is in the Veerabhadra temple. On the ceiling of the Veerabhadra temple at Lepakshi, we have the largest fresco. Fresco is a painting done on wet plaster. Fresco is painting done on a wet plaster. When I come to painting topic next weekend, I'll talk about it. So this is the largest fresco in India on any surface, 24 feet in length and 14 feet in wide. Okay. Then this is supposedly the hanging pillar in Lepakshi temple, Veerabhadra temple in Lepakshi. This is the largest Nagalinga in India. So you can see a linga here with the Naga. Largest Nagalinga comes from here, Veerabhadra temple, Lepakshi. Right? And also I have given you a note on sculptures. We have sculptures of Ramayana in the Hazara Rama temple. Then notable sculptures at Hampe, Kadale Kalu Ganesha, Sasave Kalu Ganesha, etc. We have Lakshmi Narasimha temple statue. Okay, 6.7 meters in height. It was sculpted during the period of Krishnadevaraya. The important sculptures of the Vijayanagar kings, I have given you the list here. Then we come to Nayaka style. Nayakas ruled over Jinji, Tanjavur, Madurai, Mysore, etc. Then we have Kulashekara Pandya. Kulashekara Pandya built the main shrine of the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple. So this is the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple. You can see here. This is the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple at Madurai. Parvati is supposed to have taken the form of a princess. Meenakshi, the fish-eyed goddess, as she's called, Meenakshi. Akshi is eyes and Meen is fish. The fish-eyed goddess of Madurai. And Shiva later recognized her as Parvati and he married her in this temple. That is the according to legend. So this is Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple at Madurai. Very interestingly, if you go to that temple, there's a particular tradition followed in this Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple. The tradition is you have the main shrine of Meenakshi, right? And then you have an adjacent shrine for Shiva. Every night before the temple doors are closed and the main shrine door is closed, they bring the golden footprints of Shiva. So it's made of gold, the footprints of Shiva, the shoes of Shiva, the chappal of Shiva. That is carried from his shrine and it is placed near his wife's statue, idol, right? It is kept there. What is the belief? So that husband and wife sleep together in the night. The next morning, before the main puja is performed, the shoes of Shiva are again carried back to his abode and kept there. So this is the tradition followed even now in the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple. So Madurai is on the banks of the Vaigai river. So the main shrine, the Sanctum Sanctorum, was built by Kulashekara Pandya. So what is unique about the Meenakshi temple? It's a very huge temple. There are 11 gopurams here, 1,000-pillared hall. So 1,000-pillared halls were introduced by the Nayakas. So main features are golden lily pond, temple of Meenakshi and Shiva, huge corridors, 1,000-pillared hall. And similar temples are found at Chidambaram and Rameshwaram. So this is the Meenakshi Sundareshwara temple at Madurai. 11 gopurams are there here. You can see 11 gopurams. 1,000-pillared halls were introduced by them. This is the Meenakshi temple, 1,000-pillared halls made of solid granite. And you get lost in this temple. This temple is so huge that without looking at those directions, you will get lost. Nobody can come out. And you have many Nayaka kings who have added to this temple. It's not built in one shot. You have annexes added over a period of time. So let us say one of the Nayaka kings won a war. So as a Thanksgiving, he will build one annex, attach it to this temple. Vijayanagar kings also attached an annex to this temple. Like that, this temple has grown in size. Okay, so this is the Ranganatha Swami temple at Srirangam, Tamil Nadu. It has the main gopuram is almost 240 feet in height. So let us look at the important features of a Dravida temple. On your screen, important features of a Dravidian temple or Dravida temple, important features, Sanctum Sanctorum, Garbhagriha. So the Garbhagriha consists of all these subsidiary buildings around it, Natya Mandapa. So there is a dancing hall. Around the Sanctum Sanctorum, you have a Natya Mandapa, dancing hall. Kalyana Mandapa, marriage hall where god and goddess were worshipped or married at ceremonial occasions. Yagasala, hall of sacrifice. Uyala Mandapa, hall of swinging idols. Your god and goddess, small idols are made and they are put on a swing. Okay, that's called Uyala Mandapa. Attached Kotara, storehouse, and Pakshala, kitchen. So these are all found around the Sanctum Sanctorum. Apart from this, we have huge gopurams, gateways with rich decorations, high vimanas, full of sculptures and decorations. You know what's a vimana? Spire along with the Garbhagriha. Pillared boundary walls are there. Pillared boundary walls. High pyramidical hall. That is the main shrine has high pyramidical hall. Tank is attached to the temple. You have subsidiary shrines in the courtyard. Antarala, vestibule. Vestibule connects the mandap part of the Garbhagriha. These are the important features of a Dravida temple. Okay, so you can see here Shikara. This is a Shikara in a North Indian temple. And this is a Vimana in a South Indian temple. Okay, difference between Nagara and Dravida. So it's very, very clearly mentioned. Nagara located in North India, Dravida in South. Nagara have multiple shikaras, whereas Dravida only has a single shikara. So on the topmost portion of a South Indian temple is called shikara. So there's only one shikara, whereas in North India, we could have subsidiary shikaras. Then you have multiple towers. There's only single tower in some Dravida temples. Nagara central tower is curvilinear, whereas central tower is pyramidal in Dravida temples. Most prominent element in a Nagara temple is Shikara, that is the spire, whereas most prominent element is the Gopuram, entrance gateway. Gopuram is the entrance gateway in a Dravida temple. Then Ganga and Yamuna rivers are depicted on the door jambs of the Garbhagriha, whereas we have Dwarapalas in Dravida temples. Not much importance given to temple boundary wall. in the North Indian temple, whereas the temple boundary wall is given a lot of importance. Pedestals are higher than the ground, whereas in Dravida temples, pedestals are at ground level. So that is the difference between Nagara and Dravida temples. Okay, we'll stop here. I'll continue with Indo-Islamic architecture next weekend. Okay, hello, are you there with me? So revise your lessons. We have done a lot of temple visit in the class today. We will discuss about Indo-Islamic architecture, Delhi Sultanate, Mughals, European architecture styles, etc. next weekend, and then I'll do other topics. Okay. You have a great weekend, and we'll meet next weekend. Okay. Vestibule is that Antarala. Vestibule connects the Garbhagriha with the Mandapa. Krishna. Vestibule. That is Mandapa. That is the entrance porch. Is connected to the Garbhagriha through a corridor. That is called vestibule. Okay. Hemalata. Thank you. Yeah, pedestal is a platform. You're right. Kennedy, see whether you can listen to the recorded version of it. I will ask them whether that can be provided. Thank you. You have a great day. If you have any doubts, any clarifications, mail me at vijay.kumar@byju's.com. Right? So we'll meet next weekend. So please keep revising. Don't remove the foot from the pedal, accelerator pedal. You have got extra time to prepare and clear the exam. So think that way. You have got extra time to prepare and clear the exam. Don't get distracted with this IPL and all that. Every year it will come. So don't worry. So you can vijay.kumar@byju's.com. Okay. You have a great great evening. We'll see you next weekend. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your patience and cooperation. I'm logging out. Any mail, please, any queries, mail me. Good night. Thank you.